Hey, I'm coming to praise God one more time. Got good news. I had a nightmare. And in this nightmare, some of my players from 9 years ago robbed me. I want to thank God again openly, but the situation was probably happening in my mind, in my sleep, somewhere around 5:04 in the morning, maybe 5:26 or something. But I was with a figure, almost a woman or whatever, and we was driving in a challenging neighborhood, and I was ready to go back, but she was hungry and she wanted to eat. So stopped at this place for her to get something to eat, and I saw around the corner a few figures, and they when we parked the car, she got out and went in, and while she was going in, she had a Bible, and she had 2 pages marked that she wanted marked. And so I grabbed the Bible, and I had my fingers holding the 2 pages apart to make sure that I could mark them while she went in and got something to eat so we could go. And I'm looking in the vehicle from the passenger seat, searching for something to mark these 2 spaces. And all of a sudden, I noticed to my left on the driver's side and immediately to my right on the passenger side, it was filled with bodies. And they gently tapped on the passenger side where I was at, and I opened the door and I got out. I recognized that these were a few of my students from 9 years ago. And one of them said, "Hey, Coach Goodwin." And he had an automatic weapon behind his back, and he pulled it out and just like up in the air like that real briefly and put it back, and had a long neck, like a geese neck or something like that, a long neck on it. So in my mind, I'm immediately thinking, that if I have my choice, I want to at least be able to pick my death. That's what I'm thinking. So I remember pulling out my wallet and making an attempt to hand it to him, and he kind of refused it at that point. And maybe he was waiting for her to come back out to get the keys for the vehicle, to take the vehicle. And I remember saying to him, "Can I call my children, one last time," type of thing. And I never asked that question. We didn't get that far. But it was about 9 of them. I think they were students from 9 years ago. And I think he had a 9mm. 999s, 999. For those that are lottery players, I don't know if you want to play triple digits are the same, but just in case, that is something positive or an omen. Either way, the hint has been dropped. And before she could come out of the restaurant, which was across the street, we were in somewhat of a parking lot on the corner. I was thinking about how much of a tragedy this is. Not that I was getting ready to face death or whatnot, and not for the fact that they were former players of mine and they actually called me Coach Goodwin and by my name, but the tragedy that we was in this situation, that the environment 9 years later and earlier, I'm sure, has required them and me to be in this space feeling helpless. I know this is supposed to be untraditional for a black man to be uneasy. I think there's just this assumption that the brutality or whatever you go through is just normal and it's okay. But one of the things that I was thinking in my mind was I coached these young men and now they're coaching me. I was once in control and now they are in control. And I started thinking back, man, did I wrong these young men in any shape, form, or fashion as a coach? And then I kind of felt like a spirit say to me, it was more so the situation that we were in, that they were in, and that caused it. And then I started feeling bad about maybe I didn't do a great job of coaching, influencing, or whatnot. So I was quickly taking responsibility and accountability for whatever they were dealing with. But the last thing I want to say, and this happened before I woke up, and I want to thank God for allowing me to wake up at 5:30 when the alarm clock chirped. Maybe 6 minutes of whatever this was. I woke up with a headache. But I remember saying to myself, I never got a chance to get it off to them, but is it possible, if at all, can I, choose my death? And if they would have obliged me in this process, I imagine we'll go around the corner here. It was daylight, broad daylight. I didn't say that in the beginning, it was daylight. But I was wondering if it was okay if I could be tucked away in a space that didn't disturb civilian life. And if this is the case, can I be allowed in a positive standpoint, not a negative one, to be on my knees in prayer mode, which is what I wanted to be in, and for them to be behind me and perform the execution in that way. In my mind, the thought process is, if they allow me to walk or leave, whether I'm their coach or not, now the very possibility of them going to prison, being incarcerated, being killed and things themselves is very possible. So Denzel mentioned in the movie Training Day, you want to go home or you want to go to jail. And I imagine they would never pick for themselves to go to jail. And they would never pick me over them. So whether that's selfish or not, I just understand that this is where we're at. So I never even told them about my preference, if it was possible. Who am I? I'm the one that's not the shot caller in this situation, so I won't have any say-so. But it was an extreme amount of calm over everybody. Nobody was yelling, nobody. It looked like it was just 10 men congregating, 10 black men congregating over something. From a distance, it could have looked like it was one coach and 9 players. In basketball, there's 5 on the court, so if we were short-armed and had 4 reserves, It looked as if we was huddling for a timeout. But this wasn't the case at all. This was real life. And the tragedy was, what were they going through where this became an option? So the way the dream ended is we were in this open space, and it seemed like it was pretty fast. And the police department, the police officers rolled up fast. And that's kind of how it ended. They got arrested. And throughout this whole process, my heart was pretty much ready to thump out of my chest, because I wanted to try and make sure that I was able to be as spiritual in my daily life as if I'm under the gun at all times. And I didn't want to be one of the type of people who worships God or praises God when things are tough, and not really do it when things are going great. So that was my good news and my nightmare. And the good news is not them getting caught. The good news is that I still drew a closer relationship with God in this process. I got this statement that I do now where I like to blurt out, nice. And that's really a gift to God, if it's possible, for everything that God is doing, all of the functions of the limbs or thought processes or whatever else. But and all of the other packages of good that I know nothing about, heaven. And something else that I just recently started doing when I was playing my video game, my college football game, and I'm always imagining that I'm actually coaching against somebody on the other side. The University of Texas right now is who I coach. And I'm in season 4. We have won a national championship in the last season. And now I'm trying to repeat. And the thing that I say most of the time, whether I'm frustrated or I'm feeling positive, I like to point and say, we believe in God over here. We believe in God over here. And that has significance for me, because this sideline is either infested or has me, and if it's just one more person over here along with me that feels this way, then it becomes we. But if it was clear that I was the only person that believed in God, then I would say, I believe in God over here. I believe reading in a biblical text, if man doesn't worship God, the trees, the rocks, those things will. So I openly want to thank God in the midst of man while I have a chance. This is good news. Nice. Yeah, and we believe in God over here. This is all real. So I want to thank God openly for this time to do this dream and whatever else. And here's my thing. Oh, that looks backwards. That looks backwards. I don't know. Does that look like Jesus Christ? I don't know. It looks all. One of those ways y'all should be able to read it. But it says Jesus Christ. How about that? That's what it says. So something that I made and that I believe in. But I just want to tell y'all, have a great day. God bless y'all. I love y'all. It's Motel Granted the Great for the Motel Granted Show.